Hey guys, it's Louis, and believe it or not, sometimes I script these videos out, but at times I make mistakes, and when it came to this time, I closed the fucking script file in Word. So head on over to PlayAsia to buy Summer Lesson Miyamoto Hikari Edition for the PlayStation Paperweight. They're also shilling this statue, which I mentioned previously, but they're really going at it this time, boys. Speaking of PlayAsia, they may offer Nier Automata. I'm not too sure if they do or don't, but why don't you head on over there and find out for me? And then, leave a comment or something. Either way, why don't you fucking buy something? Speaking of buying shit, despite what this Chiron here says, Persona 5 is now out. So if you give a shit about this series, which I like it, definitely you should pick it up on my endorsement. Head on over to PlayAsia using my affiliate link and buy Persona 5. It's getting good ratings, so that must mean it's good. It's an oldie, but a goldie. Tell me if you've heard that before. Shut the fuck up, I don't want to hear your shit. Gettr Live Extreme 3 for the PlayStation 4 or Vita, whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. Buy Zelda. If you're gonna buy it, we already know you bought it, because Nintendo fans are what they are. While I got you here, head on over to JList and buy something. And what's curious is the last time I name-dropped JList, I sold 4 orders in that day. So JList, JList, JList. It's like the Beetlejuice of fucking affiliates. People buy shit whenever I mention it, so JList it up. Go on over there, buy some shit, make me some fucking money. People want to talk about AdSense, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm here to collect on that affiliate dollar. And it's a big dollar. All the links of what I just mentioned can be found in the description. So this is Louis, and I'm out here on the job. Stop me if you've heard that before. But I wanted to do a quick commentary on this issue of Equal Pay Day on Twitter, which is getting all sorts of cringy fucking advertisements from corporations. I've seen 2 banks. I've seen Gap, which is a clothing company, or distributor or store, fucking whatever. I've seen a bunch of corporations tweet about this and support it and endorse it, and I've seen every fucking Democrat in the world just send out these cringy, contradictory tweets. It's amazing. Like, I've come across a few of these tweets that actually contradict the myth, that actually showcase that this is actually a lie. It's pretty funny to see those tweets and to see, like, every hack Democrat out there endorsing this. And, to every progressive that is out there listening to this, if you consider yourself to be a progressive, which is, for my channel, probably, close to none of you, this is these people, including these corporations, pandering to you. They're not pandering to me. They're not pandering to the right. They are pandering to you. So when progressives have to look in the mirror and do any kind of self-reflection, which for progressives I know is pretty much an impossibility, but should they actually find the courage to look in the mirror, you have to understand that many corporations throughout the West, and most Democrats politicians, okay, no matter how hacky they get and corporatist they get, they are pandering to you incessantly. They're not pandering to me in any way. They are pandering to you night and day. And this is just one more example that I can showcase to you of politicians, hack corporatists, pandering to progressives on feminism and women's equality. Ugh. This whole issue is a joke, and it ultimately serves the interests of the corporations. And this is going to be a hopefully concise opinion on why that is. So the easy explanation of this, and I guess we'll take a second to explain the wage gap for anyone that is not aware. The wage gap is an assertion that the average woman in the workforce is paid less than their male counterparts. The issue is that it depends on the study before we can even delineate what the fuck they're talking about, but the fact is that women and men earn different amounts annually. And the reason for that is a litany of factors that
are in some ways controllable, but unfortunately they are not something that we can eradicate in our society if we want to live in a free society. You've seen the wage gap close as prosperity has been gutted from this nation. So that's a good thing for the corporations and for the rich and for the dividend/shareholder class in this country. It's good for them to eradicate any and all possibility of upward economic mobility. That's great for them, and so it's great for feminism too, because it serves their interests as well. Notice that as prosperity falls, equality rises. How great is that? Because everyone's earning just as little. Other than the real cynical end of this, it is a matter of free choice in a free society. If you choose to work less hours at an easy job, you're going to earn less than someone working a hard, exhausting, taxing, dangerous job. And the fact is that all of those hard, taxing, dangerous jobs are being worked by men. And it seems that every campaign across this country and in the West are not interested in getting women involved in hard jobs. They're interested in getting them involved in easy corporate white-collar jobs that they can ultimately exploit. And I'm sure that the women that are entering these jobs are likely just shifting the burden of the work that they're not doing onto the people on the lower rungs of those corporations. But the issue is, for this commentary, how is this serving the interests of the corporation? And the answer for that is an easy one. If you have one gender primarily in the workforce, meaning just men, and this is not an argument for traditional conservatism, this is just an argument of basic economics. If you have one gender primarily in the workforce, you have a finite pool of people to choose from. So if you are an employer, you have to actually negotiate with workers, more so than you would with an expanded labor pool. So if you look at a finite group of men that you have to choose from, you have to come to a decision and likely negotiate the salary or the hourly rate with that worker/workers. If you artificially inflate the labor force with women, with a whole other gender, meaning more and more and more potential hirees, if you flood the market with other potential hires, then you undermine the existing labor force that is currently looking for the same work. The reason for this change in American society is twofold. One is this notion of equality for women in the workforce. I am personally fine with insufferable, unfuckable, undateable women working. I don't care if they want to work. If they want to work as hard as I do, if they want to work harder than I do, that's their decision to make. I don't give a fuck. If they want to be a corporate drone for 50 years and die lonely in a big house, that's great for them. I don't care about what women do. I'm an individualist. I don't give a shit what an individual with agency chooses to do. They're free to work as much or as little as they'd like to. I am not their employer, so I honestly do not fucking care.
Hey guys, Louis here, and I forgot in my haste to include the second half of what I was saying because I had to get back to work. But what I was going to say in this portion of the video is that one of the factors that plays in women joining the workforce is having a second income to the household. That is one of the things, if you look at the number of women that have joined the workforce over time and you look at household incomes, you notice that even as women join the workforce, that household incomes are not rising. That has been one of the weirdest factors of, when it comes to American economics that stands out in my mind, and it's one of the things that I wanted to mention here because many working mothers do not have a choice but to work. That does not, take away from what I've already said, but I just want to exemplify to you guys here that women joining the workforce is not good. It is not a sign of a healthy household or a healthy society. We once had many, many, many families, working class, middle class, upper middle class, where you only needed a single income to provide for the whole family. Now you are required to have two incomes, and that includes working class, middle class, and upper middle class. It is hard, even in upper middle class bracket, to have a job that provides for the entire family. You know, if you live modesty, maybe you can get away with it if you're a doctor or some shit like that, or upper management at a corporation. But for most families, the mother and the father have to work in order to provide a decent living for their family. I just thought I would bring that up, but I will continue on with the remainder of the commentary.
This country has lost a great deal of economic opportunity for the working class. It is a lot harder nowadays to move from the working class into the middle class without some freak occurrence. You can still do it if you work extremely hard and you're in the right field. But the economic opportunity that once existed for most Americans is now dead. The people that did that are not unions. They are not labor activists. They are not the left generally that actually give a shit about economics. What happened was that corporations gamed the government to ship jobs overseas and then rained those profits on their shareholders and to themselves, the upper management. They did not reward anyone but themselves. This is a matter of economics and what has happened to the United States. If you flood a market with labor, it undermines the existing labor force. It depresses their wages, and it lowers the chances of them getting a decent job and having to look around, or even if they do have their foot in the door and they do get an interview, they have to then negotiate for a lesser amount or have less advantages in having time off. They may need to work more hours than those they're competing against. The fact is that due to the loss of economic mobility and economic prosperity in America, women and men now need to not only compete amongst one another, but they now need to compete for lesser and lesser decent jobs, good-paying jobs. When people say that they support women's equal pay, what they're saying is, I want more competition between workers. I want a greater advantage towards corporations. I want to undermine workers. I want to give more prosperity to shareholders or the upper management of massive multinational corporations. And I'll just leave it there because I got to get back to work. Thanks for listening.